Hey boys and girls, so are you frustrated right now is because you can't wake people up, those people in your family, your brother, your sister, your mother, your best friends, people that you've been hanging out with, and they just don't get what you're saying? So here's a quick little story. I'm gonna share with you about the situation that I had with someone. So somebody emailed me, no, text me actually, sorry, and kind of a friend, and they were leaning on me, asking me, I was like, well, the ask came after a little bit of ranting about how things aren't really working for them at this moment in time in their life and how frustrated they are just with, being always busy and, I guess as well too, being a little on the fear porn from what's going on the TV and what's happening in the world. And they're completely from the more or less the mainstream narrative thinking. And this person was, struggling. And so I listened, and they're reading through what they were saying. And then I sent them a video by Brother David Steinelrust. I believe that's his name. Geez, I got to look that up. I'll put that here. Brother David Steinelrust or something like that. Anyway, the video is called A Grateful Day. Highly recommend that you watch this. And the video is so uplifting, and it's just about being grateful, about being so grateful. So anyway, so within the time it took, for me to send it back to them, that short period of was like 3-minute long video. Within just that time, they must have watched it immediately and then got back to me. And they said, "Oh, it's a nice video," and then that's all they said about it, and then went off about something else. So it was like one of these way over here. Just missed, I threw down, they didn't pick up. I threw the ball, they couldn't catch it, kind of thing like that. And this is indicative of what's happening in the world right now. But this is just on the basis, though, that I'm coming from a place of love by doing this. I'm not teaching anything. I was just going here, just something to, to peruse in your mind, to think about. That life maybe isn't so bad. Here's something that I sent from my heart, thinking I could, help them through this. And it was just a little blip on the screen. So I was like, well, they're not very grateful, because the movie was about being grateful. And I'm just like, why couldn't you pick that up? And so, I just went, And then it kind of dawned on me. It happened to me, but reverse. That I was going through some really difficult times. And I was in Victoria, BC. I was actually there vacationing. And I walked into this very, very cool coffee shop. And just in front of the coffee shop was this 1956 Porsche Roadster, black, tan interior. It was like, I'm a kind of a car guy. And this, because there are things of beauty, because the idea is somebody built these things with their hand and they created just like artwork or whatever. It's great to admire it, but not to lose yourself in it. Yet, anyway, this car was parked out there, and I'm like, oh, this is like sweet. And I walk in, busy coffee shop, people are sitting everywhere. And I look around and went, that's the guy who owns it. I just have an intuitive thing like this. People that know me know that I just can pick people out. I can figure it out, and I can just pick up an energy, and I can just go, you and I are talking, we're friends now. And it's really bizarre, but it's not a freak thing when you understand it. So I went, oh, that's the guy. So he, right away, as I zone in on him, he lifts his head up. He was sitting with his coffee in his on the table in front of him. Nobody else was with him. He had his camera on a little kind of like a stand, and he was watching something with his earphones on. And as I looked at him, he looked at me. He lifted his head. The whole time, as I was walking in, I noticed, people are all busy doing their stuff. And then when I did look at him, it was just, I think he was deeply entrenched in this. This is the point that I was trying to make. But then somehow he picked up the energy and he looked up. We met eyes, and I went, oh. And then he just kind of had this little smile, and I went, I'm going to go and talk to him. And I went in and he goes, I expected you to come in. And I'm like, huh? And then I went, oh, nice car. Anyway, we got in this conversation and he was telling me that he's an intuit. He can pick up energy, he can pick up things, feelings, thoughts, and that's why he said that to me, because he sensed soon as I walked in, him and I had a connection. Because he did see me when I walked in, he put his head down and he goes, okay. He was saying, okay, when is this guy gonna come to me and say hello or say something? That's what he was thinking. And I was coming in the door going, okay, who's this guy who's got that car? So we were already on the same page before I went in the door. So this is how things actually work. Okay, this is how things show up in your life. You have a frequency, you have an energy that you're focusing on, and that other thing, that other object or other person or other experience is out in the ether just waiting. And then as soon as you have that vibration and that vibration is on that same level, they connect and then you find it and then it happens. So regardless, we started having a great conversation. And so he could sense that there was something up. I said, oh, just some shit's going on, and you know, just having some people problems and stuff. And so that was basically. I said, well, we'll see you again next time I'm out and about in this side of the world. Sorry for the wind. So within the next day, he sends me a music video, and it was an oldie. This is like a song by the Platters or something like that. I'm dating myself right now, but this was a very old song. I think it was like, you know, late 60s, 70s, 1970s. And so I went, oh man, I remember that song, and I was kind of grooving with it, and I said, oh, that's cool. And I sent him back a text message going, hey, you know, I remember that song. I was this place and I was this age, and you know, I was just kind of keeping that groove and connection going. Next day, he sends me another music video. I'm like, wow, this guy really likes his oldies. And so I was kind of like, oh, I know that song too. It's like really, really cool and really funky. Yet, this kept on happening and happening for, I don't know, probably about 2 or 3 weeks. And it got to the point I wasn't really listening to the music anymore because, oh, I know that song, and I was just skipping by it. Now, I have a tendency when I listen to music, I don't necessarily listen so much to the lyrics. I listen to the beat, I listen to how it's put together, and you know, I'm not a musician or anything else like that, but I kind of like, okay, am I grooving with it or I'm not? So eventually what happened is he didn't send anything anymore. And I'm like, hey, how are you doing? How you been for a long time? And dead. Heard nothing. And still to this day, I've heard nothing from him. So I was just like, oh, you know, what a guy, right? So about 6 months after, it dawned on me. It took me that long to figure out what it is. The lyrics to all those songs were the answers to all my problems. Think about that for a second. He was sending me videos, music videos of these songs that were pinpointing what I was going through and what other people have gone through. And it was messages. He was relating messages and teachings to me through the music. Like, that's blew my mind when I realized that I missed the message. He was throwing down and I wasn't picking up. He threw the ball, it went right over my head. I didn't catch it at all. I wasn't ready. Just like this other person wasn't ready for hearing what I had to say. That's how it works, because we're evolutionary. We start off very immature on our spiritual level. That's why there's old souls and young souls. Old souls could be in the form of a 10-year-old kid. You just talk to them and you go, wow, like, whoa, you're so deep and rich. And then there's other people that are in the 60s and 80s or whatever age that they are, and they're totally very shallow and not in a negative, but I mean, they're in the shallow end of the deep end of learning. So this was such a mind-blowing experience for me, and it just taught me that we're all on these different levels of our evolution, and we can't expect everybody to be on that same page. That's why we're having this big disconnect right now, because there's so many people on this planet that are still in their grade 1, grade 2 level of spiritual progression, and they're not getting it. They're not seeing what's going on. They're not understanding that this is one big massive awakening, wake-up call. And there are those people like you, like I, that are right there. We're in, say, university or college or still in high school, and we're still climbing. And or maybe I fluffed myself up too high, but maybe I'm down here a little bit. I don't know. I don't need to categorize myself in any of that yet. On the other hand, I know what I'm missing on certain things, but I also know that I know so little. And that is the greatest thing, is to expand yourself and just, what am I not catching? What am I not getting? You know, like, and not beating yourself up, just completely opening yourself up to what if? Like, yeah, that could be happening. Wow, this could be like all for our benefit. This could be, what am I learning out of all of this? What's it teaching me about me? You know, where did I come from? Why am I here? Like, these are the biggest questions. And this is, so much shit's being thrown at us right now. It's such an opportunity to dive into that, because it's hitting all the buttons. Because if we contract and we let all this stuff like, ooh, 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 and we start getting scared of all this stuff, we contract, our heart closes. And if our heart is closed, we're not open to the lessons. We're not open to the experience. So I urge you to have a totally open mind and a totally open heart about everything that's going on. Give love, give compassion. When those people are rattling your chain, they're telling you you're a freak, you don't understand what's going on, why didn't you do this, you should have this, you should put this in your body, you should, you know, just like, whew. Let it roll on by, let it roll on through, and look at them and just give them love. Give them love, give them compassion. You know, don't try and fix anybody. All the work is here. All the work. Only thing you need to work on is yourself. That is it. Don't, you know, it's like being in a plane, you know, they tell you put the mask on yourself. That's it. Anyway, that's my word of the day. Love you. Like, subscribe, share this with anybody. I want to grow this channel. I love talking about this because this is the best time to be alive ever. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.